This video is going to introduce you to the idea of callback functions. And before I jump into what a callback function is, I'm going to do a quick review of what we did on our last video where we set up a document ready. So we decided that anytime the document ready is going to fire anytime the DOM is loaded, regardless of if any images have downloaded or not. So we have quick access to our DOM as soon as it's available. And that we sent it this anonymous function, which means that as soon as that document is loaded, we're going to run this function. It doesn't have a name, so hence the name anonymous. And we're going to immediately run some code as soon as the DOM is available. And also remember that in our last video, we played with the click event. So the idea that we want to do is when we click on a button, we're going to do something. And so let's select that button where we're going to go. The name of that button has an ID of hide, so we need to select the ID with the hashtag of hide. And then when we click on it, we are running that method. So I'm going to open and close it with parentheses, and in that method, we could also send it an anonymous function. And in that anonymous function, we can be doing some things. And so we've set up, well, let's see, just for now, let's do alert, just to make sure it works, in function. Let's just run it and make sure it works. So when I click on the button, I get my method, or my alert box. So I know that this is working. All right. So now what I want to draw your attention to is, back in W3 Schools, is we're going to utilize this hide and show effect. And the idea behind the hide and show effect, I think as I can show it here, is that if I click on this text, then we hide and show stuff. So let's see how that works. First, I'm going to slide down here to our syntax. And here we have selector, and then we have our hide method. And notice there's two optional parameters, and I know they're optional because first it says they're optional, but also because of the fact that they're italicized. And optional, we have a speed parameter, and we have this callback parameter. So I'll click on callback here, jQuery callback, and at least introduce you to where you can see more documentation on it. But the idea behind a callback, and here they're using that same method, the hide method, the idea behind a callback is that it's going to run after the first parameter is already after the speed is taken care of, then the callback function runs. I don't understand what that means. Okay, so let's just demonstrate the example that they give there in W3 Schools. Okay, so what I'm going to do is we're going to create that hide. So I'm going to select the paragraph. Well, I don't have any ID, but I only have one paragraph, so I'm going to just select P. The idea is I'm going to hide this paragraph when this button is selected. So we'll utilize the hide method. And it said that the speed and the functional were, the callback were optional, so I'm going to try it without and see what happens first of all. So I'm going to click on this button hide. I get my alert box, and I click on OK, and it hides. So notice that the alert box ran even though the hide wasn't finished yet. That could be problematic. All right. So the second way that we could, the second optional parameter for us was speed. And so if I put in 3000, that's 3000 milliseconds. And so the idea is it's going to take 3 seconds for our text to go away or to be hidden. So if I click on hide, notice that it popped up my alert box before my effect was finished. Okay. And then, oh, it should have taken, let's see that run away. I guess I was talking so loud. Let's try it again. Let's watch it run again. And it took 3 seconds to disappear. There we go. Okay. So the next thing I want to show you then is this idea of a callback. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this portion out and comma. I'm going to run or send an anonymous function, which looks familiar. And in my anonymous function, I'm going to put that alert. Okay, So what we're doing here is, let me just demonstrate it and I think you'll sort of figure it out. So now when I click on hide, first the hide works and then the alert box comes up. So when you have what's called a callback function, in other words, we saw in the parameters that this was a callback, what that means is it won't run until the first parameter is finished. In other words, once all of those 3 seconds have completed, then run whatever the anonymous function was. So that's why our alert box was delayed. Let me see if I can start this again. So this time when I hit hide, once the 3 seconds has completed, then the anonymous function will run, which does the alert box. So the idea behind a callback is it waits patiently, and once whatever precedes it runs, then it will run. These are what we call callback functions.